Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'd like to talk a little bit about worrying about if other people like us and the fact that you can't make people like you. Um, for most of my young, childhood, I really didn't care if people liked me. And when I was in high school, I had the same boyfriend from ninth grade to the beginning of my senior year. And instead of focusing on like being more social in school and hanging out with girlfriends, I just spent most of my time with my boyfriend. And when I look back on it, he was probably kind of controlling, which I don't think that's highly unusual at that age. But uh, something happened the summer before my senior year that was life changing for me at that time. The small town where I grew up in Pennsylvania was the home of the county fair. And the summer before my senior year, I spent, of course, all of my time at the county fair like I always did. And I met Elephant Boy. I can't believe they actually had a live elephant at the fair and gave elephant rides. Today, you would probably never see anything like that. But then back in 1978, they had an elephant ride at the fair. And I decided that I was madly in love with Elephant Boy that led the elephant around the ring, giving people rides. I never even knew Elephant Boy's name, but he did wake me up to the fact that there were other boys in the world. And I no longer wanted to spend all of my time with the one boy that I had spent the last 3 years with. So I broke up with my boyfriend, and my senior year, I focused on me. I became far more interested in art, which had been something that I wanted to do but never really pursued it. I spent a lot of time in the art room learning how to do portrait work and became far more social. And I remember being shocked when I was voted to the homecoming court because I had never been popular. And the funny thing is, I really didn't care if I was popular. I didn't care really that people liked me because I think during that time, I liked myself. And that's probably the reason why other people started to like me more, is because I did start to like myself more. Instead of focusing on that relationship and focusing on my boyfriend's life, I had taken the focus back to me and was focusing on my life. But, then I went to college, and I think in college, it's very easy to be likable. And there's not that popularity thing in college. At least there wasn't where I went to college. And people are more accepted for who they are. In fact, kind of celebrated for being different. But then we go from college into the workplace, and, there's kind of the same clickiness that we had in high school. But for most of my married life, I was pretty I mean, I think I didn't probably spend a lot of time worrying about if people liked me. But after we got divorced when I was probably 36, I became a real people pleaser. And that carried on for most of my adult life and probably never really ended until I studied the law of attraction when I was in my late 50s. And I think, there's probably a lot of things that led to this. My divorce, feeling bad about myself, having a narcissistic mother and not really knowing that. And just a lot of things led to, oh, Phil wants to get in on the action. Um, just a lot of things led to me being a real people pleaser. And I look back at myself and I think, oh gosh, you were just so people pleasing and sucked up to people and wanted everybody to like me. And oh my goodness, I was just so worried if anybody acted like they didn't like me. And it wasn't until I studied the law of attraction and realized that I needed to bring that focus back to me. I needed to like myself. And I think, like, when we're in our 20s, I've talked about this before, we are very into ourselves and thinking about what we want to do and what we want to include in our lives. And then we gradually lose that. Either we get married, we might have kids, we might have a partner, and our focus starts to become on, like in my early days of high school, on someone else instead of ourselves. Well, I think the key to being happy when you are older is bringing that focus back to yourself. And part of doing that is just focusing on what you want in your life and accepting the fact that you can't control other people. And you can't control if maybe your adult child doesn't want to spend time with you. You can't control if your, sister or brother doesn't like you or is jealous of you. You can only control what is in your life. And part of working towards that is just becoming more mindful and more aware of what you're thinking about. And if you would like to get a free PDF that I have available. In fact, I have two of them. I have one just basically how I structure my day to include mindfulness throughout my day. And then the other one is just a mindfulness kind of a checklist that you can put on your refrigerator and say, okay, you know, am I doing all of these things so that I can be more focused on what I'm thinking about? If you want either of those free PDFs, um, there's an email in the description below. Send me an email and I will send either both of them or whichever one that you want. So I think as we become more self aware and more mindful of our thinking and of our negative thinking, we start to realize that it really doesn't matter what other people think. And you will reach a point, if you decide to study the law of attraction and to become more self aware and to become more positive in your thinking, you will come to a point of you won't really care what other people think. And I can honestly say that I spend very, very little time thinking about what other people think of me. And even though occasionally I'll get a really nasty comment, it really doesn't bother me. Really, the trolls that are out there, they don't bother me because I feel very, very worthy of love. And that was something that I did not feel for the majority of my adult life. I was that people pleasing, suck up kind of a person. And I'm so happy that that person is gone and that I can now focus on my life. And if you are going to be happy in your 50s, 60s, 70s, and beyond, then you've got to take that focus back to you. You've got to decide what you want in your life, whether it's learning a new skill, learning a new craft, a hobby, uh, learning a new language, whatever. Take that focus back to you and stop worrying about what you can't control. And you can't control if other people like you. And really, it doesn't matter as long as you like yourself. I mean, really, I'm a pretty boring person. I don't like to drink. I don't really like to socialize a lot. But you know why I don't? Is because I'm happy with myself. I am so happy with myself and I hope you can become that way too. Like just happy with yourself. And you get to a point where sometimes I prefer solitude. And That's something that I never felt like in my 30s and 40s. I felt like I needed to be around people all the time. Like I needed validation all the time from other people. I don't need validation from anybody now. And I have only become that way from studying the law of attraction. And if you would like to know more about how I did that, then I do have an ebook available on Buy Me a Coffee. I mean, for $12.99, you could change your life with this simple ebook of things that I implemented into my life to completely change it. So, like I said, that's available on Buy Me a Coffee. But if you just want, a couple free PDFs of just a list of things like a checklist and, like I said, how I schedule my day just to include mindful things kind of throughout the day, then email me at the email address in the description. And I hope you're having a really good day. I am still working on my online course. I'm almost done with it. I am almost done with it. And if that's something that you will be interested in, uh, send me an email at that email too, and just let me know if you're interested in taking the course. So anyway, I hope you're having a good weekend, and I will see you in my next video. Thanks. Bye bye.